of the residents that are reserved for members of the aging community, and about 20 units that will go to young members of the community, particularly those from the homeless community, with the idea that we will give them support and connection toward entering healthcare positions. So it could start off with them becoming CNAs and assisting some of the members of the aging community. And it can go all the way on up to support for entering medical school or the allied medical professions and becoming physicians or phlebotomists or whatever. But the idea is that those of us from the aging side of the community can provide the socialization and support that the youngsters don't have because they have become estranged from their families and communities of origin. So that's what Jackie and I have the pleasure of working on together. And on a personal level, as I mentioned, Jackie is younger and she happens to fit into the birth order of my children perfectly. So if I could, I would adopt her so she'd keep those two boys in line for me. she'd look out for me. So that's what it's all about. So go ahead, Jackie, let's get some work done, hon.
Thank you, love. Thank you. And hi, everybody. So welcome, everyone. This is a conversation with One Roof Chicago. I am Jackie Boyd. My pronouns are she, her, and they, them, and I serve as co-chair for One Roof Chicago. With me is the illustrious Donald Bell. Don, would you mind introducing yourself?
Okay, I'm Donald M. Bell. My pronouns are he, him, his, and my age is 73. And I might explain that by saying that it's part of my personal anti-ageism drive that we can all passionately, loudly, and full-throatedly identify by our ages too, and not give in to the pressures of ageism that seem to make us want to feel less when we get older. So that's me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Don and I both serve on the board of One Roof Chicago, and we are talking with you to share just a little bit about what One Roof is doing, and also to invite you to let folks know about our upcoming focus group on October 6th, 2022, from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. And there will be options for people to contribute and participate in person. We're partnering with Affinity Community Services for folks who want to come to that focus group in person. And we are also offering a virtual option for folks who would prefer to participate from home. But more on that in a minute. So Don, I wonder, you just had shared with some folks in your life about One Roof Chicago, and I'll give that overview again of what we're trying to do. But I'd love for you to chime in with anything that I might miss.
Okay.
So we started One Roof in 2018. A woman named Pamela Calvert had the brainchild that we know that our young people in Chicago who are LGBTQ plus are experiencing homelessness in unacceptable numbers. And there's not enough support to help our young folks with that pathway to aging and independence. At the same time, Pam was recognizing that she and her beloved partner were aging, and we're looking at what are the options in Chicago for LGBTQ plus elders. And currently in Chicago, we are lucky enough to have a few housing developments that focus on independent living. One is Town Hall Apartments, the other is John Pennycuff Apartments. But what we were interested in is how can we create a community for both vulnerable populations that focuses on home, that creates a space where you can have natural connection, natural mentorship, along with more established support services, all under one roof. So the dream of One Roof Chicago is to develop on the South Side 100 units of housing, 80 of which will be dedicated to older adults, and 20 of which will be dedicated to youth who have experienced homelessness or housing insecurity over the ages of 18. Our real goal is to contribute a place for youth and for elders where people can be safe, can be seen, and can build meaningful relationships with each other and pathways to wellness. On the older adult end of the spectrum, we are really trying to extend beyond independent living so that our older adults can move into the home and be there through the end of their lives with the appropriate levels of support and care. So that would be, you might be aware of terms like assisted living or skilled nursing. We're not trying to build a skilled nursing facility. We're not trying to build a nursing home. We're trying to create a space where when you're independent, you're just as comfortable and secure and safe as you are when you may be nearing uh, a place where you need more support or near end of life, so that that continuum of care can happen in one location. Don, do you want to add anything else maybe about the workforce development piece?
Well, I think that just the fact that we are engaging in a project that is intergenerational and we're trying to meet the needs of both generations. We're trying to provide a space that our youth do not have to come into support of entering the workforce in the way that people usually do. That's the most important part of the workforce piece that I have, but the technical parts of the program you could probably more adequately describe than I can.
Well, thank you so much. And part of what's so exciting about where One Roof is right now is that even though we first came together in 2018, we likely won't open our doors for 3 to 5 more years. So we are still in the process of building what this vision looks like. So the workforce development piece will be articulating and designing and working through next year. And that's my dad in the background.
Hey,
Part of an
Dad.
intergenerational myself already. so so I think that if you're interested, anybody who's watching this, if you're interested either in working with youth, in supporting elders, in designing a workforce development program, get in touch with us at One Roof. We have plenty of room and space for volunteers, for donors, for folks who are interested in this vision and want to see it come to life. So Don, I'd like to ask you, because I was part of it initially, Pam got in touch with me and, I've worked with young people, LGBTQ plus older adults and in advocacy for a long time. And I see the need every single day for this
Mhm.
kind of home. What made you decide to join the board? I'd love for you to talk just a little bit about what inspired you about One Roof, and in particular, we're both Southsiders.
Mhm.
What you to build this on the South Side?
Okay. Well, the One Roof project, um, the One Roof Chicago project, to me is well, it has very personal ramifications to me. This is a life affirming commitment for me. As you mentioned, I too am a native South Sider. In fact, I'm third generation native South Sider. So my folks have been in Chicago since the time immediately after the World's Columbian Exposition in the 1890s. So we preceded even those who were part of the Great Migrations after the First and Second World Wars. And we've seen the city grow and develop, and we participated in that. And being born into that legacy, I wanted to see the legacy continue. You know that if you don't own your history, you don't own your legacy. And the experiences of those generations, I want to maintain in the community. And so this is a real commitment of passion to me. You know personally that in my time, I have been denied as a Black man and also as a gay man some achievement in my life. I went to university and was denied the opportunity to study for architecture because I was Black. That passion for architecture still exists. That my roots are firmly on the South Side, including all of those traditional historical things that people hear about. My family comes from Pilgrim Baptist Church, the home of gospel music. I lived right there in the Grand Boulevard community that we're talking about at the time that I was born and later. And I see the legacy of those times slipping away. And if we can embrace those in developing this community, then I have succeeded in what I wanted to do. I really wanted to reflect the growth of the Black metropolis and the incredible place that Chicago has in not only LGBT, but in African American history. Because the more we record those stories and we institutionalize those legacies, the more truthful American history will become. So this is my chance. This may be the only thing I ever have to build in my lifetime. But when it is done and when it operates successfully and we bring a community together to reach its limits rather than being impaired by its limitations, then I will have done my job and I can rest easy. So that's me.
Don, I always love hearing you talk. Like I just really appreciate the breadth and depth of history that you hold in terms of your perspective about Chicago. And the real realities of what folks are dealing with. And thank you for sharing a bit about your experience and your story that roots you. I know you, we know each other. I know that along with so many other experiences as an educator, a historian, a caregiver, root you in the real reality of what our families and our folks are dealing with. And I think, for me, I wanted to serve on the board because I like to build things. I've never, been part of building a program of this scale before, but having lived in a few different neighborhoods. I lived in Woodlawn and I lived in Bridgeport for many, many, many years while I've been in Chicago. And just the fact that so many of our youth feel like they have to go north to get
Mhm.
services, to get supports. And
Mhm.
our elders and older adults oftentimes can't get to those services because of location and geographical issues. I think for me, that's part of what makes me want us to build for ourselves a home that also reflects our cultural values, right? Like we've had multi-generational households in Black and Latinx and Asian American communities. That's like, part of how we understand family. And
Right.
so being able to create an environment where we're not separated by age, or
Mhm.
we're not separated by gender. Um, I'm really excited to be able to do that in a meaningful and intentional way. And so, thank you for sharing your story, friend. And for, again, anybody out there that's interested, that wants to be part of this growth and development, please reach out. There is room for your voice and your talents at the table. We each on the board and all of our volunteers show up in the ways that we want to have the impact collectively that we hope to have here. Coming up in October, so October 6th, 2022, from 2 to 4 p.m., we are going to have a focus group that will ask the older adults in our community. Primarily, we're looking for Black and Brown LGBTQ plus folks who are Southside based. So if you live Southside, we are talking to you. We want your voice and your perspective at this focus group. It's a 2-hour focus group. You'll be asked a series of questions around really the program design of what our older adults need to live well through end of life. So it's going to be pretty specific about the senior program side of what we're doing. It will be a great environment if you join us in person at Affinity. If you want to participate virtually, we have that option too, and that will also be a great environment. You wouldn't need to bring anything besides yourself, your experience, and your perspective. And there's a $50 gift card that will be issued to every participant. If you want more information, you're welcome to call or email me. My phone number that you can reach me at is 1-877-6-WE-PLAN. 1-877-6-WE-PLAN. That's my business number. And then you can email me at jacqueline@the-care-plan.com. And I would just like to say thank you so much, Don, for your service to One Roof Chicago, and beyond that, to your commitment to wellness for LGBTQ plus folks in the city of Chicago. I have learned so much from you. I continue to learn so much from you. I'm just grateful to be able to build together. So
Well,
thank
Jackie,
you.
may I add one more thing very quickly? And
Yeah,
I'd like to
please.
clarify this. And that is, when I say African American legacy, I am not speaking to African Americans alone, because the legacy of African American Chicago is that it has always been open to all. When immigrant groups came to Chicago, they could find reception and welcome in the Black community until their immigrant groups grew to a size where they could establish their own communities. We have peacefully lived beside the residents of Chinatown in the second Chicago Chinatown that exists, and we continue to do that. And that's important because we also seek people who are absent from our discussion, and definitely within the LGBT community, people of Asian descent are oftentimes absent, but we want you to know that we miss you. And the LGBT community itself has historically always been welcome in our community. And what exists today as Boys Town originally started in the Black community on the South Side. So this is an invitation to all who can become a part of our project.
Thank you, Don. And on that note, everybody, we hope that you will share this opportunity for the focus group with the older adults in your life. If you are an older adult, and by older adult, we mean folks 50 and up, don't get mad at me. We just, for our community, it's a little different. We tend to deal with different stressors in life and age a little sooner. So we want to be accommodating of that. So if you or someone you love is LGBTQ plus identified, 50 and up, lives on the South Side, and would like to share their perspectives and their voice, we would love to see you at this focus group. If you want to talk about One Roof Chicago generally or get involved, we would also love to talk with you. So please reach out. And thank you again, everybody, for your interest. And Don, you're just the best. Thank you. I'm going to
Thank you,
stop the
Jackie.
recording now, and bye,
Okay.
everybody.